We have to mention Dr. John Money.
A psychologist, originally from New Zealand. His primary area of interest was in hermaphrodites, what we now call intersex, a condition that afflicts one in about 5,000 infants. He was the first to open a clinic in the United States at Johns Hopkins University. He proposed that there's such a thing as an experience of being either male or female that is completely divorced from your body.
John Money's signature theory is that we are all born gender neutral, with the potential of living or identifying as a boy or a girl, a man or a woman, that we are blank slates, so to speak.
May I interrupt for a second? That's actually such a bizarre premise, because we are mammals like all mammals, and it's very clear when dogs are born or cats are born or horses are born that there's differences that are innate. They're not being so influenced by the environment as humans are being. It's actually a really bizarre premise.
Well, this was in the 50s and 60s. So it was before we had a lot of the knowledge that we have now about, prenatal hormones and development and so on. And he became, he put it out there not only to the scientific community, the mental health community, but to the lay community. I mean, it was covered by, Time magazine, and it became like a very big thing that he was extremely well-known, well-spoken, sophisticated professor. At that time, maybe not now so much, but the white coat, meant a lot.
The cultural climate of the 60s was ripe for ideas like John Money's. Ideologies like feminism that pushed the idea of no differences between the sexes began to proliferate at the time. Yet despite his notoriety, John Money had yet to prove his theory. That was until the Reimer family showed up to his office. The Reimers were a blue-collar family from Canada who gave birth to 2 healthy twin boys, Bruce and Brian. When the family decided to circumcise the boys, a malfunction caused Bruce's penis to be completely burnt off. Devastated, they decided to seek the help of John Money, the esteemed doctor from Johns Hopkins.
The Reimers see Dr. Money. The twins are about 1.5 years. He said to them, "You must raise Bruce as a girl. We're going to castrate him. We're going to do some preliminary genital surgery so that his genital area looks more like a girl. You're going to rename him, give him a girl's name, dress him in pink frilly dresses, give her dolls, and he's never to know that he was actually a boy." He's stating things in a definitive way, as if he has all the research, as if this is an established fact, which of course it was not. And this is a theme that we are seeing runs through the whole gender issue. And I really want to emphasize this because it is happening, Dr. Gold, to this day, to this very moment, that parents are being told and being instructed things as if they are established facts, which they are not at all.
Yeah, very good point.
Which is called fraud.
John Money began to present this case in the medical literature and to the public as proof of his theory. He was elevated as an incredible pioneer in our understanding of gender, and the case for the Reimer twins was proof of it. According to Money, Brenda was thriving.
This was all a hoax. Brenda was not doing well. Brenda was doing terribly. Okay, Brenda was never feminine. Bruce was even more masculine than his twin brother. He was aggressive. He preferred his brother's toys. He didn't want to wear dresses. He would pull his dresses off. Brenda did not fit in at all at school. The girls, they called her cave woman because of the way that she walked and the way that she talked was extremely masculine.
One of the things I was most struck about was that Brenda, who has no idea that he's XY male, would urinate standing up.
Yes. That is one of the most fascinating things, yeah. At a certain point, Bruce became suicidal. He realized he was attracted to girls. he had been in therapy for many, many years. The therapist and the psychiatrist that he was seeing knew the truth about him, misleading this poor boy and telling him he was a girl. But finally, there was one clinician, one psychiatrist that said, no, we have to tell him. We have to tell him the truth. And she met with the parents and she said, it's time. Your son is suicidal. We can't carry on this charade any longer. His first reaction, as he described later on in his life, was relief. Relief. I'm not crazy. I'm a boy. All his life, he had been engaging in this inner battle, internal battle, of trying to be someone that he wasn't. And finally, he was told the truth, and it was an incredible moment of liberation. And he immediately, at that moment, decided he was going to live as a boy. But you know what? He didn't go back to Bruce. He picked the name David. And he felt that up until that point, he had been like David fighting this monster Goliath in his life. And whether he meant the monster John Money or just the monster of, this fraudulent life, you could call it, the lie that he was a girl, this monster in his life, day in and day out. And he went back. He, of course, stopped the estrogen. He had surgery to remove his breast tissue, and he had quite a large number of surgeries on his genitals.
One might ask, what would possess someone to pursue such a radical experiment? An experiment that would affect the entirety of someone else's life. What kind of person would potentially destroy the life of an innocent child?
He was an extremely disturbed individual, disturbed and immoral. And he was disturbed, let's go with that first. It turns out that he himself had his own gender dysphoria, his own discomfort with being a man. And it all harkens back to being raised by an alcoholic father who would beat him and beat his mother. And this was John Money's, model of masculinity, this monster of a man. And he wrote about it openly, that he despised his manhood. And that is what we would call now gender dysphoria. And he wrote that he thought that the world would be better off if not only, he was raised on a farm, by the way, if not only animals, but young men were also gelded or castrated. Okay, so this gives us just a little window into his psychology of his own self-loathing as a man. So it's no wonder now it begins to make sense why he would come up with a theory that would be the solution to his distress. Meaning that even though you might be born with certain chromosomes and your body might say, I'm a man, it doesn't mean you're necessarily a man. It doesn't mean he's his father. He wanted, with all his being, to not be his father, his monster father. John Money died in the early 2000s, at which point his twin experiment was revealed as a complete failure, an utter failure, in that when Brenda reached adolescence and they started giving her, at John Money's instruction, estrogen so that she would grow breasts, and John Money started pressuring Brenda to have genital surgery to construct a vagina, and she just said, no way am I doing that. And she refused to ever go back. She and her brother refused to ever go back and see Dr. Money again. And it came out that during those visits, John Money was sexually abusing those boys. So on top of exploiting this poor family that had gone through a terrible tragedy and exploiting them for his own selfish egotistical reasons, because he wanted to be the great researcher, the great John Money, the great pioneer, gender pioneer, he was also abusing these kids and forcing them to look at pornography, forcing them to take off their clothes and assume different sexual positions with each other. Terrible, terrible things.
So we're talking today about what it means to be a doctor, and just because a person has a lot of diplomas and has earned the diplomas doesn't mean that a person shouldn't question, is this person sitting in front of me a doctor as you understand the word doctor to be?
And the other thing, Simone, it's not just the individual doctors, it's the profession as a whole, because there were people that were speaking up against him and saying, hold on a minute. There's prenatal hormones, there's all kinds of things, other things we have to think about. He silenced them. He tried to make sure that their papers were not published. Okay, so people have to be aware that there are subjects, there are things within medicine that are being debated, but it's not being presented to them as if there's a debate. And that is precisely what's going on now with gender-affirming care.